Hi everyone and welcome, this is the Apostate Prophet. We all know who the first person on the moon was, right? No, not Neil Armstrong. I mean 1,400 years before that. Mohammed. He didn't just walk on it, he split it in two. Okay, before we get into this, I want to set something straight. Even though many refer to this as Muhammad splitting the moon, the actual belief is that Allah split the moon for Muhammad, which is pretty much the only miracle that Muhammad ever performed, but weirdly not seen by any other people except Muslims. Muhammad doesn't have any special powers in Islam, Allah has. Muhammad is just a prophet who needs to have enough sex and power, as Allah points out in the Quran way too often. According to Islam, the moon was split in Muhammad's time as a miracle that would verify the authenticity of Muhammad's message. It failed horribly, unless you are someone who doesn't like research and rationality. In the Quran, the event is mentioned very briefly. It says, "The hour has come near, and the moon has split." And from there it starts doing what the Quran does on every page, attacking those who don't believe in it. Looking at the Quran, there is actually not much to make of this story, because the Quran doesn't tell much. The story that Muslims believe in becomes much clearer if you read the Hadith, because that's what they believe in. As always, remember that Hadith are an essential part of Sunni Islam, and rejecting them if they are authentic is apostasy. Now the Quran verse, as said, is very vague about the splitting of the moon. That's why people look at the Hadith. Anyway, according to the Hadith, the moon was split in two in Muhammad's time. Some Hadiths say that it just happened and Muhammad said, "Bear witness." Some say that it happened when the people of Mecca asked for a miracle. And other Hadiths even describe that the moon was seen as two pieces in the sky. And some say that one part of the moon even went away to a mountain, and you could see the mountain between two parts of the moon. Looking at these Hadith, we can clearly see that in Islamic sources, the event is described as the moon physically splitting in two and moving through the sky. An event that must have been visible in a huge region on Earth, right? So I just want to look at this. I don't really know what time of the day it was and what season it was, whatever. But considering that it was early at night, the moon would have been visible in these areas. Or late at night towards the morning in these areas. You would expect that the Persians and the Romans, in this time the Byzantines, would document such a miracle, because both of them, especially the Romans, kept records strictly of pretty much everything. So, since the moon was split and could be seen by so many people around the world, let's look at all the witness records now. Yeah, there are none. Only words of some Muslims in Arabia. Some Muslims claim that there is actually an Indian witness and that the witness traveled to Arabia and converted to Islam. But it is, as you can guess, completely fabricated because it is completely baseless, has no evidence whatsoever. But if you believe in Islam, claims that some unimportant people in the desert make are enough as evidence. Because this story is so weak in itself, some Muslims, especially nowadays, make up completely different theories, like the moon splitting in two didn't actually happen, but it will happen in the future, towards the end of times, as a miracle. It's always great to put miracles in the end times, because that's so believable. Others, who claim to be very rational, try to explain this as a lunar eclipse in Muhammad's time. Fun fact is that a lunar eclipse actually happened in Muhammad's time, but a lunar eclipse looks nothing like the moon being split in two and sending its parts in different directions. Because that's what the Hadiths say. Otherwise, you can deny accepting the Hadith, which makes you a non-believer in Sunni Islam, and can take only the Quran verse. Sadly, the Quran verse also says that the moon was split. Of course, this miracle can't just end without mentioning some 21st century moderate stupidity. You might have seen already that many Muslims around the world on the internet pick this NASA picture and show this as evidence that the moon-splitting miracle was real. Others even go as far as to say that NASA confirmed the miracle. Of course, the opposite happened. In 2010, NASA scientist Brad Bailey said, "No current scientific evidence reports that the moon was split in 2 or more parts and then reassembled at any point in the past." He also added that you shouldn't just believe everything you read on the internet. Of course, that didn't stop the Islamic world from using this image as proof for the miracle. Even if this was actually real, there is still absolutely no proof. Muslims who always want to point at different meanings, proof from the Quran, proof for science, and so on, of course ignore evidences in this case and think this is totally real. This is a rift line on the moon, which is 300 kilometers long. Muslims explain that this happened because the moon was split. Even though if the moon had been split at some point, there wouldn't be a rift now. It would be broken and deformed. Or if this was a miracle, the moon would be back again in its complete unharmed form, without leaving any trace of the miracle. A rill like this forms due to changes on the ground level, like erosion or lava collapses, and other totally scientific reasons. The chance that this happened due to the splitting of the moon is 0%. And guess what? Such rills exist in high numbers in our sun system. And in high numbers on the moon. I bet they were all split by all the prophets. That's their biggest anticipation once they become prophets. They want to split the moon or other planets. I don't even want to talk much longer about such nonsense. Muslims should really ask themselves if they would really this blindly believe in it if another religion made such crappy claims. Especially if no one witnessed it in such a huge region. The Persians and the Romans didn't see and report it, but the Arabs did. Such a waste of time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and to subscribe. Thank you so much. You can support me on Patreon if you want. My channel is not monetized and never will be, and I appreciate your support very, very much. The link is below in the description. The amount you want to give is totally up to you, totally up to how much you want to support me. And you can follow me on social media, especially on Instagram and on Twitter. And I will be back with more new videos next week. Have a great weekend and stay away from Islam.